Okay, so for this video, I wanted to showcase sprinting. I know sprinting's been done like a trillion times on YouTube and stuff like that, but I did want to showcase this one the way I do it. So as you can see, if you look at my screen, you're gonna see like controls to the left, and then it's gonna have walk, run, sprint, crouch, free look. So run is good, crouch is good, walk is good. But if you were to sprint, you notice that it's like messed up, right? So I'm about to show you right now. I'm using desired rotation and movement for everything. I'm using use controller desired rotation. So I set this up a certain way to where I have my own locomotion system. I'm separating everything by enums. I'm separating the different movement states by enums. So this is left to right, right? I haven't changed any of this. This is like default. This is forward, backward. So what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna pull out my locomotion, right? This is my component. I made this separately, independently. I might list it on the marketplace. I don't know if I can. I don't know. I might. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get my enums out. My enum say my local enum. My local enum just has different states in it: walk, run, sprint, crouch, and free look. And for free look, what I have is I have orient, rotation, and movement. That's it. It just allows the person or the player to look around the character. But if I go to like walk, it'll you know go back to the walking state. So if this is equal to sprint, these are the different states: walk, run, sprint, crouch, free look. I just made it. It's a custom enum. I made it. If this is equal to sprint, I'm gonna create a branch. Right. So on triggered, if this is equal to sprint, if it's not, do this. Right. But if it is, if this is equal to sprint, what you want to do is you actually just want to change like the state back to running, so that that backward movement doesn't occur. So what I did is I set up separate functions. I could even pull. Actually, I'll pull this out. This is in my really long tutorial. I showed how I set my stuff up in that really long tutorial. I didn't expect a lot of people to watch that. An hour-long tutorial is just ridiculous, to be honest. That's just like too much. I also have it here, but yeah, I have the same setup here. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep it there. I have it the same exact setup here. I can even delete this, and it's still gonna work. I'll still be able to jump because I have it set in the component. I have it set here. Um, Actually, you know what? I will delete. I'll just delete this stuff. I'll do it in the component. It's the same exact setup. So I set up these functions. Uncrouch means it's the same thing, right? So I deleted it, but I'll showcase it again here. This is the enum. If this is equal to sprint, then do something, right? So if this is equal to sprint, if that's true, do something else, right? So if this is true, run this code. If it's false, just keep it normal. But if it's true, right, and you're moving left to right, but you're in the sprint locomotion state, or what I want the player to do is I want the player's locomotion state to go back to running. And these are data assets. I set this up in that hour-long video. This is just something random I'm just going to upload to the channel. Just why not, right? Because you just never know. So if you're moving, right, and you're in a sprint state, you're moving in a sprint state. If this is true, and you press left to right, then go into run state. Okay? But if it's false, then continue what you're doing. Right? Actually, it should be here. And all that does is that just eliminates that backward movement. So I'm sprinting. Oh, wow. Now I can't sprint anymore. Actually, hold on. I made a mistake. Because I'm actually missing a step actually. If this right here, this x value, this value right here, if the x value, you want to create another branch. If this value is greater than or less than either or, then move this, then set it to run. But if it's not, continue with what you were doing. And this is a little messy, as you can see. I'm gonna actually move this over. It's a little messy. I'm probably gonna move this down. This is just a little messy. But if it works, I'm gonna compress it, make it neater. So now I can't sprint at all. For some reason I can't sprint at all. If you're sprinting, if that's true, and this is greater than or less than. If it's false, if it's not greater than or less than, then continue. But if it is, then set this to run. So let's see. So yeah, here we go. There we go. So now the only way you really turn while you're sprinting is using your mouse. But if you go left or right, it'll just run. And if you want to go back to sprinting, you have to press left shift again. But if you go to the left or right, it'll just go back to running. That way you don't get that other backwards movement. Stuff like that. So this isn't my locomotion component. I wrote this locomotion component in that hour-long video. I'm not really expecting anybody to watch that. That's actually really long. But this is what's going on, right? So off of triggered, I created a branch. If you're sprinting, if you are sprinting, right? And I'm gonna make this a macro just to make this cleaner. And it's a macro because I don't want to copy it. I don't want to move it. I don't want to be able to. I don't want this to exist anywhere other than this locomotion component. When you make something a macro, it's basically like making a local variable in a function. It only exists in this scene, in this one scenario. So is just locomotion state, right? So I'll put here, right? So if this is equal to something, right? And in my case, this one I want for sprinting. And I'll put local state here. I'll put true, false. Just a little macro just to make things cleaner. So if this is true, right? If you're sprinting, if this is true, you are sprinting. I'll back this up some. So if you're sprinting, this is true. If you're not sprinting, then just keep doing this. But if you are sprinting, right, and you're either going left or right, so you're either pressing the left or right input. This applies for a controller as well, right? So if you're going left or right, if that's true, you're just going to enter the running state. And then after that, you're going to follow through and keep doing the same code. If you're not pressing left or right and you're just going straight, you're going to also enter the state. That means you're going to be sprinting. It's only if you're pressing left or right, you're going to run. You're going to run. Every time you're pressing left or right, you're going to run. But if you're not, you're just going to sprint because you're already in the sprinting state. And that's all that's going on. Right, so I can make this cleaner by making this a macro. Right. And then I'll explain it like one more time. And then I'll end the video. Right, so if you're sprinting, you're true. You're sprinting, right? This is true. You're sprinting. You want to go into this macro. You want to delete these? We don't need both. We just need one. So this is move right. So if you're moving right or left, if that's true, you only need one pin also again here. Then enter the add movement. Enter the movement functions. So if you're moving right or left, if that's true, go run. If you're not, then just continue with what you were doing originally. So only if you're going left or right, you want to enter the running state. Only if you're sprinting though. Only if you're in a sprinting state. Right? So then you just refresh it. Refresh nodes. That's it. That's all she wrote. I could even make this even cleaner by just creating a variable. Right, so move right or left. Move right. Make this a variable. It also helps you understand it better. So this is moving right, this would be moving forward. So move right. Maybe here. You're also moving right here. And I could delete this. So if you're moving right and you're in the sprint state, then run. If you're not in the sprint state, then just continue with what you were doing originally. And that's it. That's all she wrote. I'll even create this as a variable as well. Movement input. And then you could even make this a function just to make it cleaner. But I'll probably make this a function. Or I can't make it a function, I'm sorry. So that's it. And it should still work, even though I made those variables. So if you're running, only the mouse will turn when you're sprinting. If you press the directional keys, you're going to be running instead. It'll just change the state. So that way it doesn't look like weird. So only the mouse will turn. Now this animation set came with left and right movement. If I wanted to, I could change it, but for this video, to keep it short, I'm not going to do that. It's already like 17 minutes, 18 minutes, so I'm about to end the video. Thank you for watching.